Welcome into the second half draft show, episode 5. I'm your host, Juice, joined by Headley and Drew. What's going on, fellas?
Good, man.
Another day, bro.
Just another day. What that means, it's another Friday. It's another Friday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, which means we got football on deck tomorrow and the day after. But what we're going to be focusing on what's taking place this Saturday. All right, and we got you covered here on the second half draft show, brought to you by Couch Potato General Manager. Guys, if you are new to the channel, new to this particular program, check us out. The YouTube channel is Couch Potato General Manager. We also have a website, www.couchpotatogm.com. If you would, please wipe your feet,
there you go.
Like the video, and comment. Yeah, we're interested to hear what you say here in the live chat as well. We'll get to your questions or comments as well. Where I'd like to start this particular episode, gentlemen, we always cover the previous week and analyze who stood out, who flopped among the 2023 draft prospects, the eligible prospects. So not necessarily, guys, everybody's going to come out, but we cover whom we believe will be in the class or is eligible to be in the class. And I want to start with Kentucky at Ole Miss and frankly, the elephant in the room, which is Will Levis. Of course, Will Levis is a highly touted prospect, seemingly has all of the requisite traits, and of course that's what modern day scouts are focusing on. They think if we can find the traits, the physical tools and gifts that can't be taught, we can coach them up. So the question is, can Will Levis be coached up? But before we get to that specific question, let's talk about his performance in this matchup with Ole Miss. And I'm gonna start with you, Drew.
Yeah, I don't like to put fault on nobody because it's a team sport, man. Damn, Will Levis, this was your time to shine, baby. This was it.
It was.
I know there's a couple more games, obviously, within the season that he can make headway. But going into the game, you always, the pregame is, this is the guy. I'd be surprised if he's not, the number one quarterback off the board or in the top 3, and then you go out there at Ole Miss and you don't perform. And my biggest concern for him going into the season, was, he doesn't have, Wendell Robinson anymore. So they're not as strong. He does have a Robinson on that team from I think your boy from Virginia Tech. But it's just, how is he going to look this year? What is it going to look like? You know what I mean? And he is he's under an NFL head coach in terms of the offense. So you would think, okay, well he should improve, and that internal clock, that's a problem. And I can't necessarily, I can't blame him. The right tackle got hurt. Backup comes in, gets exposed. Will Levis holding on to the ball a tick too long. Ball gets stripped. Game over. Will Levis looks like a guy that you look at him and you say, okay, this is a guy who should be able to.
He looks like a guy.
Damn, bro, a jack. Come on, man.
No. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
He looks like a guy that can elevate the level of play of the players. I would think, there's different versions of a quarterback. It's guys who you put guys around them and you can see them perform very, very well. There's guys that, they can play with trash and they'll raise the level of play around them. To me, I want to think Will Levis can do that. Not that there's trash on the team, because the offensive line is an issue for that team. They lost a lot of talent, and that's a problem. And it gets exploited pretty much every week. And I thought he was a guy that could kind of circumvent that right now. And right now that is not the case. So,
but before I get to your analysis, Headley, Drew, and I'm going to open this up to both of you. Do you think that he's been given a certain level of leeway, a certain amount of cachet, considering the fact that the supporting cast may not be quite as good as it was a season ago?
I think there are people out there that do, and I think there's other people out there are saying the concerns that we have in terms of your internal clock, in terms of going through your progressions routinely, consistently,
notwithstanding,
I'm not giving you leeway. So I think there's a group that will, and there's a group that won't.
I hear you.
Yeah, I think the offensive line is not the same. Like you said, the receiver is not there, but he did get back his big running back. I know we're going to speak about him right after, but he got back Chris Rodriguez, so You know, he didn't have a big game on the ground, but and if you look at Levis' stats, 18 for 24, 220 yards, 2 TDs, no picks, it looks like, okay, he played a pretty all right game, but watching the game and you see, like Drew said, the internal clock, he took that safety when he shouldn't have took that safety, get the ball out your hands, throw it out of bounds. And then last 3 minutes of the game, he tries to scramble left, fumbles, right? And got the possession back. He didn't get his guys lined up in time. He did throw a touchdown, but it got called back because he didn't get his guys lined up in time. As a leader, the quarterback, you know, you're supposed to make sure everyone's set, make sure, you know, before we say hi. And then right after that, the right tackle got beat, he fumbled. So you had 2 fumbles within the last 3 minutes. And that's ultimately what happened. Kentucky kept on shooting themselves in the foot. I think they missed some extra points, a field goal, the fumbles by Will Levis. It's a game they should have easily won. But Levis, he didn't rise to the occasion, and Kentucky lost.
So I want to pose this question before we move on from Will Levis, and I think this is going to be kind of a reoccurring question, all things considered. Unless he completely, you know, flips the script, we will see brilliance. There are going to be times where he looks like the best player on the field, and then we're going to see exactly what we saw within those last 3 minutes, as Headley described. But, you know, we talk about the NFL draft and the projections and the traits and so on and so forth, and a couple prospects, maybe not so recent draft prospects, but quarterbacks, current starters in the league, i.e. Josh Allen and Carson Wentz. I think Will Levis has been compared to some of those guys, right? And I'm wondering whether or not he is more Josh Allen or Carson Wentz. Is there too much hype on Will Levis?
When you talk about
the
guys,
hype is there.
Yeah, no, you good. I would agree that the hype is there, and when you have guys with those traits at that position, you're gonna get that hype. I mean, it is what it is, right? You just want to be able to kind of mold him and okay, get him refined, and then when you get him refined and he's doing the traditional things that you want as a quarterback, and then when things start to break down, he can turn into the Josh Allen and do those things, and you have a Superman back there. You know what I'm saying? That's the ultimate goal, is it not? With the guy with his talent, size, speed, all that stuff. Just I need to refine it and put it all together. It's just that if you can't do these simple things, the traditional style things that you need to do consistently, none of that other stuff works because everybody's as fast as you, if not faster. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. The ball. That's absolutely fair. That you got to have your fundamentals. You have to have the basics in place to then let those, you know, upper echelon traits and physical tools kind of shine through. You know, one of the things that we often talk about with respect to Carson Wentz is the fact that Carson Wentz doesn't know his limitations. Is that what you see in Will Levis? Do you see any correlation there, Headley?
I don't think it's as bad as Carson Wentz. He's not, you know, running around throwing the ball. He's not doing that. You know, he tries to play in
within the
offense,
structure,
within structure, but it's just, you know, being a leader. You know, he can get better, you know, at those traits. He has that physical talent. He can throw the ball over the field, but being a leader, getting your guys set up, making good decisions, working through progressions, those are the things he has to work on. I don't think he's as bad as Carson Wentz in terms of, you know, running around like a chicken with your head cut off and don't know what you're doing. But the Josh Allen, I don't know. Even Josh Allen in college, you know what I'm saying? He showed some leadership ability and leading his football team.
Command.
You know, despite the talent, the command of the offense, despite his talent. But and Will Levis, those are the things that he would need to work on to go with those physical attributes.
Okay. Headley, you alluded to Chris Rodriguez. I believe he was the SEC's leading rusher a season ago. Of course, he was suspended. Drew, I believe you mentioned that it was something around the NIL. Perhaps he didn't necessarily follow protocol because he wasn't necessarily aware of specific protocols. He returned to the lineup. You guys' thoughts on his performance? I know it was kind of I may be conflating him with Tank Bigsby, so I won't go there just yet. But what do you think about the return of Chris Rodriguez, and who else stood out to you in this game?
I think Tank. See, you got me saying Tank, man. Chris Rodriguez. I think Chris Rodriguez did Chris Rodriguez. I felt like, you know, Kentucky should have handed him the ball more. I know he was coming in there, you know, coming off of. I mean, he missed 4 games, bro. Like, he got to be the freshest guy out there. You know what I'm saying? Just give him the ball. I think he had 19 carries, but I think about 74 yards and a touchdown. He looked like Chris Rodriguez, man. Small, not gonna say small, but he's a compact runner. He's not gonna be easy to hit. He's not gonna be easy to take down, and he can run through contact, man. And when he gets up in and through that hole, that burst, I mean, he'll look for somebody to run over. I really like him as a running back. I just wish they would have given him more carries. Just want to see a little bit more of Chris Rodriguez and a little less of Will Levis. I get it. He's the guy, but it would have been nice. But I thought he played well. He played well.
Yeah, yards per carry was under 4, but he grinded every single yard. We talked about the offensive line not just affecting Will Levis, but also probably Chris Rodriguez. But he grinded out. He doesn't go down easily. Like Drew said, he's compact. I think he's a bigger back, like 220. So, I think he could, handle, a lot of load, and I think it's going to help Will Levis as a quarterback going forward when he could just hand the ball off to Chris Rodriguez.
Any other standouts?
I was keeping my eye on AJ Finley, Ole Miss safety. There was a lot of talk about him. He has the size. He's 6'3", the length.
That's long, bro. 6'3".
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Said, hey yo. But
yo.
You hit the pause.
Come on.
But
you good.
I see some missed tackles, man. I see some missed tackles from AJ Finley. Sideline to sideline. I didn't see that motor, that speed go sideline to sideline. So he's another guy, kind of like Will Levis. He has the traits, the attributes, the size that you want. It's just something's a little bit missing for me with AJ Finley.
All right, let's stay in the SEC with Alabama at Arkansas, and this was quite a game. It was quite a game until Alabama pulled away late. Bryce Young, of course, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, QB1 for most, or maybe not necessarily most, but for a significant amount of the population of our draft prognosticators. He goes down with an injury, and it became the Jahmyr Gibbs show, and we've talked about it quite a bit. We've talked about it extensively, and we're going to get into you guys' top 5 running backs, respectively, throughout this portion of the collegiate football season based on your analysis and scouting thus far a little bit later in the show. But Gibbs continues to be, the standout among the skill positions, as far as Bama's offense. The receiving room seems to have taken a step back. Of course, we talked about this extensively in our pre-production meeting. They've had just this revolving door of receivers, whether it be one go-to guy, i.e. Amari Cooper, Julio Jones, want to go back a little further. And then, of course, as they changed from a kind of a run-first approach and started to spread it out, they started getting 3, 2, 3, 4 guys at a time. You know what I mean? Of course, we're referring to Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddles, Ruggs, and so on and so forth. Judy. And most recently, Jamison Williams and John Mechie. So they don't seem to have a guy who's established himself. There's talent there, don't get me wrong, but no one has established themselves. So as far as the offense goes, you have a lot of Bryce Young who's creating and who's doing his wizardry. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back, we knew that he had open field prowess and that he could make guys miss, and he had the speed to hit his head on the goalpost. But I am very, very impressed in terms of what he does out of the backfield as a receiver. And frankly, he's the engine to that offense, a la, Bryce Young in tandem with Bryce Young. That is really what's making this offense go. Of course, you have to account for the offensive line, but as far as the guys who were touching the football, Jahmyr Gibbs has been incredible. What do you think about his performance thus far, Headley?
He's everything. The hype, the hype is real with him. We talked about the Alabama receivers, and he might be the best Alabama receiver. How they use him out of the backfield.
Right.
Broke 2 big 70+ yard runs. It's just easy speed. He presses the hole really well. Gets skinny in the hole. The contact balance, if you hit him, it's Alvin Kamara. Like every time I see him, I think Alvin Kamara. I think it's he looks up to Christian McCaffrey. That's who he models his game after. I think that's what he said. But you look like Alvin Kamara, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's the tape on the arms,
ain't nothing wrong with
bro.
It. It is the tape on the arms, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Kamara went to Bama, right?
He did.
He went to Bama.
He was a transfer. He transferred from Bama, whereas Gibbs transferred to Alabama. But yes, absolutely.
And he just, I just feel with Bryce Young now injured, he's not going to play this game against A&M. You're going to have to lean on Jahmyr Gibbs as the runner, as a pass catcher. You just got to get him touches, especially in space. If he's in space and he's on that second, third level, it's hard to catch him, man. So he could really blow this game open for Alabama.
Yeah, and talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, when I'm watching the game, and the guy who blew it for Arkansas on that defense, yeah, I'm gonna go there. Them holes was just open, bro. Was Bumper Pool. We was talking about them names last week. We like Bumper Pool. We like the name, right? We like the Drew Sanders. Was it Slusher? We liked all of that, right? So we love some Slusher, but pause. But Bumper Pool was a disappointment, man. I know he's a leading tackler on that football team, but like you were saying with Jahmyr Gibbs in terms of pressing the hole, and when you press that hole and then he kind of slides to that left, slides to that right, to that next hole, and then Bumper just couldn't make the move, or he got kind of got caught up and washed out, and it just made it real easy. And he did it over and over and over, and it happened a couple of times with the backup quarterback that came in for Bryce Young, and I think his name is, let me catch his name. I want to make sure I get his name, give him his respect. Mr. Jalen Milroy. I don't know if I said that right. Apologize if I didn't. But yeah, he did the same thing. I mean, it's just I don't know, man. I guess Bumper ain't got the moves from the left to the right, but coming downhill, and I thought he was kind of a guy who could shed blocks. Now he was getting covered up. Maybe I need to reevaluate, take a longer look at him. But he was a disappointment, and I know not to take your thunder, Headley, but Drew Sanders, number 42, he played well. He kept showing up. It's nice when you keep seeing a number over and over. If you're watching your team and that guy keeps showing up and he's doing damage to your team, you're a little upset about it. Like, yes, can somebody get this guy, do something? But when you ain't got no skin in the game, it's nice to just watch a guy do his thing. And Drew Sanders, I think he leads that team in sacks, and he might even lead the country in sacks if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm off. Fact check me, but he's somewhere up there. But he was effective all over the field, and he probably should have been the guy spying. I forgot his name already. Backup quarterback, Jalen. But they chose Bumper Pool.
Yeah, Bumper Pool. I think those two big Jahmyr Gibbs run, it was him. He got caught up in the wash, like you said. He couldn't get into the hole to stop Jahmyr Gibbs, and even if he did, I think Bumper Pool, lack of athleticism. I think that's where Drew Sanders have him, man. You spoke about Drew Sanders. I think he's instinctive. He shoots the gaps. He can shed blocks, hustles, flies with bad intentions, closes quickly. I was very impressed with what I saw. I seen him. They put him on the edge sometimes. Like you said, he had 6.5 sacks this year. So he's going to be in my top 5 linebackers in the class, man. I already have him up there. So he really showed out for me.
Yeah, the concern with Bumper Pool is not necessarily a new one for really productive linebackers at the collegiate level. The concern obviously is the fact that is he going to have the requisite athleticism to make those chase down plays backside and be effective in space. You know what I mean? Whether it be spying a quarterback or dropping back in coverage, and that's where he lacks. Like you said, Drew. It appears that if he can come downhill and he's kept clean, he'll make the play. He'll make the tackle. There's enough physicality there. But at the next level, the scouts are going to be looking for. There's been some really, really productive players at the second level of defenses in the collegiate game that didn't even sniff any of those 7 rounds in the draft. You know what I mean? They were lucky to be priority free agents in certain instances. You know what I mean? So that's something that we're going to certainly keep an eye on throughout the remainder of the year, and then certainly going into the draft process. Anybody else in this particular game? We didn't mention KJ Jefferson. What were you guys' thoughts with respect to how he's played here recently?
Yeah, we didn't mention him. I thought in instances he played well, and in other instances I think he didn't. I thought at times, hey, keep your eyes down the field, and you got an open guy. Instead, he tried to run, or at times when he actually kept his eyes downfield. And he was able to make the pass and throw it to the receiver. It's just a thing of consistency, just being consistent with those things. And at times he was with it, and at times he wasn't. And you get what you get with that when you play Bama, and they walked away with an L. But just consistency with me, man. It's just I'm gonna continue to watch him because I think he's a guy. I think he is a guy, and I don't mean a jag.
You mean a capital GUI?
Yeah, positively. Yeah. Just more football for him, man. At the end of the day.
All right. Let's talk about Headley's Knowles. Let's move to the ACC, and we have
he can talk about his Knowles.
Wake Forest at Florida State, and Sam Hartman and A.T. Perry. That Wake Forest offense, they built a lead, and they were able to hold off the Knowles. The Knowles they surged a bit, but they were able to hold them off. Your thoughts on Wake Forest? I want you to start there, Headley, and then we could talk a little bit about what you saw from your Knowles.
Sam Hartman continues to impress. Last week against Clemson, he was killing them with the deep ball. That's what Clemson gave him, so he took advantage of those corners out there. This week, I think Florida State saw the tape last week. They didn't want anything to get behind them, so they killed him in the medium game, in the mid-range game. A.T. Perry running routes. I think A.T. Perry, I spoke about it last week.
Yeah.
He's a big guy, but it's what he does at the top of his routes. Guys like DeAndre Hopkins at the next level where they get physical at the top of the routes, they create that separation. I think that's what A.T. Perry does very well. He could go past you, or he could create that separation in the middle of the field. So that's how they took advantage. But who I was really impressed with for Wake Forest was the offensive linemen. Sean Magan and Michael Jurgens, the left guard and the center. Justin Ellison ran wild on Florida State, right up the middle because of those two guys. They're not the biggest guys. I think they're around 300 pounds each, but they could move. They were physical. And, they run that slow mesh offense where they have to hold up for a long time. It's like 10 seconds back there where Hartman has to hit his chest. And those guys are blocking. They're working together as a unit. Time after time, I've seen them come together on the second level, taking out Florida State linebackers. Florida State linebackers have a lot of speed, and that speed didn't matter because they just out-physicaled them and they ran it down the throat. So I was impressed with those two offensive linemen, and they'll be at the Senior Bowl. They're in the Senior Bowl watch list, so hopefully we get to see them more as the season progresses.
Before you get in there, Drew, there's a prospect that was drafted. I believe Green Bay ended up picking him early day 3 in the 2022 NFL draft, and that's Zach Tom. I believe I have that correct. And, I was late to the party on him as far as the scouting and the analysis. But when I turned on the tape, and I was very impressed. Again, not a huge guy. You mentioned those two interior offensive linemen for Wake Forest aren't huge, but the technique, the play strength, the ability to climb and get to the second level, the fact that they have to hold up because of that delayed mesh approach that they do, it's really impressive that there's quality players coming out of the Demon Deacons program there. And it starts, of course, the emphasis and we love what Sam Hartman does. I think he does a great job of protecting the football and making good decisions, and his ball placement is always very impressive. But we have to give more credit to that offensive line. Like I said, Zach Tom is now playing at the NFL level, and we should see a few more guys headed that way as well. Drew, your thoughts on this game? Any particular players that stood out to you?
I'm gonna take the low-hanging fruit in Jared Verse. I know he wasn't healthy, but when he was in there, he was effective. You saw the power, the speed, everything that you want from the position. Headley talked about A.T. Perry in terms of, I know you said it last week, in terms of he's a big guy, but he can play like a small guy, and that's extremely dangerous. In a good way. Yeah, and that's extremely dangerous when you're that size player because,
what does that mean, Drew? What does that mean?
The movements, you know what I'm saying? When you're a big guy, you're supposed to, you kind of
lumbering.
Yeah, he ain't that, and usually defenders, see a big guy, and if they haven't done their homework, they're kind of playing him as if, I can kind of hang on him, kind of hang around him, and next thing you know, you left in the dust, 3-4 yards, and he's created all that space, right? And Sam Hartman, he just did more of the same, just did more of the same. Like Headley said, they adjusted the game in terms of what Clemson did. Said, okay, you're not gonna give us the stuff that Clemson did. All right, we'll dink and dunk you. We'll mid range it all day long until we get down the field, and then we're gonna hand it off to our running back, and he's gonna do his thing. So yeah, it was more of the same from him.
It can't be taken lightly, and this is why I give a lot of credit to Sam Hartman as far as his decision making is concerned. It can be frustrating when the opposition is playing too deep and you can't get that big play that you're accustomed to, when you can't get the explosive plays that become a regular occurrence in your offense, and you have to be patient and you have to check it down and you have to be precise, because the more plays, the more opportunities for something to go wrong, whether it be a holding penalty or a negative run or whatever the case may be. And to be able to overcome that, to be able to convert on third down and keep those chains moving, and like I said, protecting the football. I think he got away with one pass a little bit late there, but
that was that third down.
That was a big play. But for the most part, he really did a good job in terms of ball security and exercising patience. And when the play was there, when the opportunity presented itself, they oftentimes took advantage of it. So it's really impressive. That to me, again, from an entertainment standpoint, from a glitz and glamour standpoint, from a box score hunting standpoint, when you see the ball flying 40, 45 yards in the air and A.T. Perry is coasting into the end zone, that looks great. But I think it's much more difficult and really speaks to the execution of Wake Forest when they're able to go on that 10, 12 play drive and cash it in, get points. All right. We'll stay in the ACC and we're going to move on to the nightcap from the Week 5 slate. I say the nightcap. I use that term loosely because, we have Pac-12 after dark. But as far as the primetime game, NC State, a very experience-laden team. I know there's some draft prospects here. Didn't necessarily have their best showing. They faced Clemson. And DJ Uiagalelei, he continues to demonstrate the fact that it appears that he's turned a corner and he's playing consistently and he's getting better. And we talk about traits, and he certainly has them. So he's an interesting prospect. What do you think about his play, Drew?
I thought he played well. He's a prospect. I just want to see more of the same of last week. Outside of that bad pass we threw, it probably should have been a pick six. I wonder what the DJ lovers would have said about that. But overall, he played well in that game. More of the same. I just need to see more of the same with him, man. Just continue to get the ball out on time. Continue to go through your progressions. Because one of the biggest things for me is I was like, man, he's not even this. We ain't even talking about him, man. It's like he ain't getting ready. Don't come out. Just stay in school right now. Get through it. Hopefully, Clemson changes their offense and maybe make some moves. But listen, he's things could change. Things could change. But this is going to be a heavy quarterback draft. So I don't know. I'm still leaning on stay in school, keep this thing going. We'll see. But I thought he played very, very well.
Ditto. I think he's continuing like that. Ditto. He's continuing this trend, man. Like he was left for dead last year, man. He didn't play well. And last week against Wake Forest, this week against NC State, two good defenses, and he continues to shine. And there's rumblings. I know they asked about that QB3 last week. There's rumblings that he may could be QB3 if he continues this.
I mean, Will Levis shaky? He's shaky.
Mm-hmm. Shaky.
We talked about that extensively at the top of the show. So
it's just how he uses his legs. He's just more like he knows what he's doing. Like he's more what's the word? Like
confident.
Confident is definitely it, and he just takes off when he has to.
More decisive.
Decisive, that's the word. Decisive with his reads, decisive when he's to run, and he's mirroring both his arm and his legs, and he's being a very dangerous threat for Clemson.
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of prospects in this particular contest. I thought Miles Murphy perhaps had his best game of the season thus far. He is definitely in the first round conversation, the edge from Clemson. Clemson always seems to have a ton of talented defensive linemen, if not front seven, but certainly defensive linemen. He's the latest in a long line of them. We didn't get a chance to see Brian Brise. Unfortunately, he did not play. I believe there's some familial issues going on there. So, but certainly, of course, we think he might be the first Clemson prospect off the board come the 2023 NFL draft. Who else stood out to you among these two teams? And of course, Drew, I'll give you plenty of landing strip or runway, I should say, regarding your boy Devin Leary.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to leave the Clemson defenders to Headley because watching that tape, them boys it's about the same 3 or 4 numbers just kept popping up in terms of defensively. But my man Devin Leary, clear the throat. I thought he played well, and he is one of those players, and I have it in my notes. I think it's about it's about 2 or 3 quarterbacks. I have these same kind of note where I say, if you give them the talent, what do they look? How much better do they look? Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think with him, I think if you switch Devin Leary and Tagovailoa, say let's switch those guys in terms of who they play with. I think you're talking about, he's in the conversation for the top quarterback in the country. People may not like it because he's not the most athletic, and I know that's a trait that's looked for at that position now because of how fast the defenses are and the offense that are being ran now and all that stuff. But I wish he had more talent, man. Because if he had more talent, man, I think people are gonna miss on him, man. I think people are really gonna miss on him. He goes through his progressions like you wanted at the quarterback position, and the fact that he's not an athletic guy, he has to do that. He throws with anticipation. He's gotta, I'm not the guy that's looking for the guy who can throw it 80 yards. You know what I'm saying? I just don't need you to have the noodle arm, and he most certainly does not have that. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I really, my brother be texting me every week, bro. If Brady's gone, bro, who you like, man? I'm like, bro, I put the same 2 cats in there. Outside of the top guy, right?
Sure.
I put a Devin Leary in there. I put a Will Rogers in there. I like those guys, man.
What happened to Trask, my guy? What happened to Trask?
I mean, bro,
wow.
we just talking if Trask don't work out, bro. He ain't getting no work, bro. With Brady there, nobody's getting work, man. So assuming Trask doesn't work out.
Sure, I hear you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the defensive side, man. I think between these 2 teams, a lot of these defensive players are going to be drafted. Yeah. We talked about Tyler Davis last week, just took over that game. And this week it was another guy, KJ Henry, number 5. He was all over the place, just causing havoc, the intensity he plays with. He trash talking. He was feeling himself last week and deservingly because he had a big game, man. And now you're talking about KJ Henry, Brian Brisset, Tyler Davis, Miles Murphy. Those are 4 defensive linemen on Clemson that could be drafted in the top 50 in the 2023 draft class. So it's pretty ridiculous. And we're not even mentioning Trenton Simpson, which should also be a first-round pick as well. So Clemson is stacked. But I had my eyes closely on the NC State defense too. They have a lot of guys over there as well. They're not as ranked as high as these Clemson guys, but Corey Durden, number 48, the big nose tackle. He's just physical, run stuffer. You can never have enough run stuffers, man. You need those guys. We talk about it every week. Like first and second down, affecting that, getting to third and long is very important. And I think Corey Durden does that really well. I see Isaiah Moore flying around, coming off blitzes, the linebacker. Tanner Ingle also, caught my eye also how he flies around at safety, comes up high, comes down quickly, can make tackles. So, NC State, like I said, it's not the Clemson defense, but they have a lot of talent that's going to be in 2023 draft class as well.
Definitely. Back to the SEC we go, and we have LSU at Auburn. These are 2 programs that, obviously have a ton of talent, individual talent, but they're not necessarily playing great football. The standout here for LSU, the most ballyhooed prospect is BJ Uiagalelei. And as you can see on the screen, Headley says Uiagalelei is the best pass rusher in the class. If you saw last week's live, we showed a clip. I may pull it up. It depends. I may pull it up once again just to give anybody who's new to the channel, new to the show, an opportunity to kind of hear Headley, stake his claim as Uiagalelei being the best pass rusher in the class. Now, of course, there are people whose heads are exploding in terms of what about Will Anderson? What do you mean when you say Uiagalelei is the best pass rusher in the class? Do you think he's the best edge in the class?
No, I mean he's the best pass rusher in the class, meaning affecting the pass, getting after the quarterback. Will Anderson can get after the quarterback also. He just doesn't win like how BJ Uiagalelei wins, man. Will Anderson is more of a complete defensive end or outside linebacker edge, and he could play the run, he could play the pass, dominant. But what Uiagalelei does in his pass rushing skills, how he uses his hands, he comes off the edge with the burst, the dip, the bend, the closing ability, the ability to get to the quarterback, to sack him, and not just sack him, but to strip him, to take over a football game. He's the best pass rusher in the class, and I've said this coming in before the season, and I'm sticking by it, man. I think a lot of people are seeing it, and I think a lot of people are probably moving him up his boards because he's taking over games every week now. It's just like no one could really block him right now. And, LSU offense is not on track. But the defense is dominant out there. I think LSU and Clemson, I think those two defenses might be the best two defenses in the country.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. I said, you ain't got my quotes up there, but that's okay. I said he's the most explosive off the edge. And that continues to be
so Drew. Like so if we stacking quotes up, that quote doesn't necessarily,
move the needle.
It doesn't move the needle quite like he's the best.
Yeah, you gotta step all the way out there.
You understand what I'm saying? Like say it with your chest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to come with something then. Okay. All right. I understand. If you didn't know, he's number 18 for LSU. Number 18. Let's talk about Auburn on the other side, because on their defensive side, you have Derek Hall. You have Coke. I want to make sure I say his name right. Every time I see a Kobe spelled this way, it throws me off. Kobe Wooden, which... Bro, he was manhandling folks. And I know LSU's offensive line is not good. It's a young, they're kind of putting it together as they go and everything. But, bro, he was bullying people. He was taking on double teams so other people could eat, and people out here missing tackles. Number 32, I don't know your name, but I'm going to call you number 32 because you laid down out there, bro. He took on the double team, sacrificed his body, bro. Clean, he could go straight through the hole, clean, bro. What is it? You always gonna keep your linebackers clean, and he missed the tackle, bro. Like I can't do nothing else for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? But he was doing his thing. I think him and Derek Hall had some sacks. They probably would have had more, but it was one of those things where it was kind of right at the line of scrimmage. They pushed the quarterback forward, so it was a rush versus a sack. And if I'm not mistaken, Ojulari had a strip sack, by the way, and of course number 5, not called Jay Ward. Picked it up, if I'm not mistaken, or was it Ward that picked it up? I can't remember. Anyways, but yeah, and the only reason Auburn lost that game because they was out there. I sent it to y'all boys in the chat, bro. It was Keystone Cops, bro. They just falling over their own feet. You know what I'm saying? Just freak accidents all over the place, muffin punts, fumbles. It was just bad. I'm just like
Reggie Fish
out here, bro. Listen, they was up 21-0. Or excuse me, 17-0. I'm like, they just, how did they lose this game? And it's I was like, it had to be turnovers. Yup. Just turnover. And at some point, your defense is, you're gonna miss a tackle, something's gonna happen, a penalty or something. It's just gonna put LSU in a position to score. They do have talent, you know what I'm saying? So, that's one of them losses where you just kind of, as a fan, just like, damn, we could have won this game and we gave it away, So, but I think you're going to continue to see the Derek Halls and the Kobe Woodens continuously, because those guys just show up every week, man. And they are what they are. Like when you watch them one game, that is what they are. They're not disguising anything. They're not going to fool you. Next game is going to look the same, and the game after that's going to look the same. I'm not telling you to do this.
They bullies, man. They bullies.
Ice up. Gotta ice up.
They are who they are. You know what I'm saying? And you can watch just one game and that's it. You're good. You scouted them. You scouted them. Just saying. If you wanted to kind of fast pace that, just one game would do you. You're good. Don't worry about it. Move on.
I want to call out a comment we have from Jake Schvinnick, NFL. Jake actually has his own YouTube channel. We have worked with Jake in the past, and he mentioned that Ojulari had a real nice move against Evan Neal last year. Right. And of course, Evan Neal was a very highly touted offensive tackle out of Alabama. Ojulari's special, man. That bloodline is a quality bloodline. I hope my boy Aziz can stay healthy because he's a good player. But to your point, Ojulari, the younger Ojulari, BJ, he's explosive. He has more bend. You know what I'm saying? He has more upside in the grand scheme of things. And he's definitely, if not the best pass rusher, certainly in the conversation as the best pass rusher in the country. Anybody else we haven't mentioned? I noticed that you guys kind of just,
I'm gonna talk about Jay Ward.
Yeah, I know you're gonna get to Jay Ward. I already knew that one. No, I wasn't going. I was gonna go Tank Bigsby.
Tank
Bigsby. Okay. I think I mentioned it last time around, or perhaps I conflate things. So perhaps it was during one of our pre-production meetings or what have you. I think he's gonna come at a value. I think he's such a talented ball carrier. He has more chops as far as, being in the passing game that I think he's given credit for, but he's not on a good football team. He's not getting the opportunities that perhaps we saw a couple seasons ago. And I think he's going to slide a little bit in drafts, unless, of course, he just completely obliterates the combine and the testing. But I think he's just going to be one of those players that it's hard to keep off the field at the next level. He's going to be effective. You get the supporting cast right around him, and he can be a difference maker. But Headley, I open it back up to you in terms of Jay Ward, DB1, apparently.
Yeah, they saying DB1. We still on it, Drew? DB1.
Nah. Oh yeah. Every time you see DB1, I think about cornerback one. No, he DB1. DB1. Yep.
Yeah.
Run it.
The thing I saw with Jay Ward is he's just talk about teleporting. He gets there quickly. He knows how to elude blockers on the way there. It's just really hard to get hands on him. I like him a lot coming forward, but going backwards in pass coverage, I think he had some lapses. It was zone coverage, I believe, and he had some lapses. Some guys got in front of him. So I want him to tighten up in the passing game, but I want to play him closer to the line of scrimmage. LSU sometimes plays him way out there, free safety, deep coverage.
They get cute.
Yeah, get him close to the line of scrimmage, man. You see how Jalen Petrie last year?
Yeah,
that star role. That's why I want to see Jay Ward.
I'm surprised that they haven't kind of converted that and said that's what we're going to do with him, because he's so effective. He's always around the ball. When he's around the ball, bad things happen for the offense. You know what I'm saying? If you got that kind of guy on your team, bro, like you said, I'm trying to keep him close to the line of scrimmage, let him read and react, make plays. For me, bro, his top ability, bro, is just not being able to be blocked, bro. I'm like, bro, you ain't that big. How you ain't? He got a knack for it. He does slither. Damn, Harry Potter out here, bro. Slithering, bro.
Come on, man. Let's jump over to the Big 12, and I know this pains Drew, but I think there's some prospects that are worth discussing as far as the 2023 class is concerned. We have Texas Tech at Kansas State, and Headley was pounding the table during the pre-production meeting.
You don't walk it back. Walk it back.
You know what I'm saying?
Walk it on.
I don't know with the conviction, the lack of conviction here. Tyree Wilson, very intriguing edge rusher for Texas Tech, seemingly has all of the size, the measurables from a size perspective that the scouts are looking for. He's affecting the quarterback on a consistent basis. You thought he was a lock. You thought maybe 24 to 36 hours ago, you felt like he was a first round lock the way he's been playing, Headley. But you walked it back. Why are you walking it back?
When Drew told me, he had another 2 sacks. I'm like, he's putting out the production to go along with that size, that physicality, and I don't think a team could pass on him in the first round. But I watched the tape over, and I'm like, it's something missing with him. And they try to drop him back in coverage sometimes. He doesn't look good dropping back in coverage, man. And teams kind of covet that. They covet the speed. I think he's missing that twitch and that speed and that burst consistently. He shows it sometimes on occasions, but he's just missing certain things that I think at the next level teams really covet. And I just want to see his combine, what he runs, because if he runs a bad time, that probably might slide him out of the first round. But everything else, if you're not dropping back in coverage and you line them up on the edge and you play bully ball, because that length, man, he had a strip sack again this game. It's just, he just long, you know what I'm saying? Even if he's not by the quarterback, he just reaches his arms out and he strip the football and make explosive plays on defense. So I just want to see it more consistently with Tyree Wilson before I say he's a first round lock. Was that good enough?
Yeah, it's acceptable. I mean,
okay.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate the insight. I understand. I think to your point, he has some of the things that you can't necessarily teach that has the look of a first round prospect. Certainly now that he's marrying that up with consistent production, but the eye in the sky doesn't necessarily lie. So if there's something that you see that's maybe missing, now the question then becomes, an NFL organization, an area scout, a defensive coordinator might pound the table for him and say, let me just get a hold of him. Let me just get a hold of him. That little hesitation that you might have, that bit of doubt that you have in terms of him, don't worry about that. I got that covered. You know what I mean? That could very well happen as well.
I just want to see more dog. I want to see more consistent dog. That's it.
That's because he's playing in the Big 12 at Texas Tech. That's the problem. Bro.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying?
There it is.
What is that? That aura? Not the aura.
There's the thinly veiled disdain for Big 12 football.
It
is what it is, huh?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I was supposed to watch Cooper Beebe, offensive tackle for Kansas, and I can't see it was Kansas State, and I did not. So I want to go ahead and put it out there. I did not do that. I'm not going to tell you somebody I watched. I didn't. I'm supposed to watch it. I didn't watch him. I'm sorry. I didn't watch him because I was watching Deuce Vaughn. I was watching. I was watching Deuce Vaughn. He was listen. I know that Kansas State fan and some draftniks are going to liken him to Darren Sproles because of the size, which I can't knock it, but I like to liken him more to a Work Done. Although Work Done caught more passes out the backfield, man ran for 23, 177.4 yards a carry. Again, I know he's playing Texas Tech.
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. You know what I'm saying? Did Texas Tech just beat Texas? Am I wrong?
You're correct.
Okay. All right. I remember watching the coach after the game, and went out there and lost to Kansas State. Kansas State is a very dangerous football team, and Deuce Vaughn is a hard guy to get a hold of. You're talking about him being 5'6", about 180, soaking wet maybe. I'm not sure. But he's those kinds of guys, they're hard to corral. They're hard to see. He plays to that. Runs with the low center of gravity. Hard to tackle even in the open field. Got some speed. Got some burst. And if you think that, he's small and I'm going to be able to just kind of ragdoll him, no, he's going to put that helmet in your chest and he's going to run. I don't know if he's going to run through you, but you're going to feel him. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to see him a little bit more in the passing game. And I know that's not what they do with him. So I can't say that he can't catch the ball. They just don't throw it to him because that's not what they do. So, but I thought he played well. I mean, you run for 170, you probably played well.
Yeah, they took over that game on the ground. Adrian Martinez, the quarterback, that boy be taking off, man. A lot of yards on the ground for him. It was just him and Deuce Vaughn over and over, running down their throats, man. And man, Deuce Vaughn is he's something special, man. He can put together multiple juke moves in short areas back to
small
back.
Feet. I call it small feet, bro.
Small feet. You got it, man. Got it.
I got to ask a question. I mean, this might derail the live a little bit.
We go.
Guys,
we want to go. We just want to go about 30 minutes. Now we go about 45. Now we go an hour, and then we just go ahead, derail it, bro.
We're gonna land away somewhere around 3 hours eventually.
There you go.
We'll get there eventually. Has there been a Work Done since Work Done?
No.
Nope. Because I'm not knocking the comp. I'm just trying to to see if we can get a little bit more contemporary for our viewers of a certain age. I mean, that's around our
I might have to walk it back.
That can have that appreciation. I'm not knocking it. I'm just thinking to myself out loud, who over the last, let's say 10 years or so reminds you of Work Done at the running back position? You know what I mean? And I can't think of one. I'll be honest with you. Nobody's coming to mind either. You know what I mean? So At any rate, let's move on. Let's move on and let's talk about Oklahoma, TCU. Not so much the game. Let's focus on prospects of note. Oklahoma's defense is a problem. Brett Venables, hopefully he can get that turned around for Sooner Nation's sake. But TCU took it to him, and there's a DB that we had an extensive conversation about that I'd like to talk about. And Headley, why don't you introduce that defensive back?
Trevius Hodges Tomlinson. That Tomlinson last name, TCU. Yep, he's LaDainian's nephew. He's on the smaller side, about 5'9", 180. But he doesn't play small. He He gets up in receiver's face. The hips are oily. He contests catches. And, he'll come up, blow up screens, make big plays there. I think he's a complete corner. The biggest question now is, does NFL teams think, is he an outside corner? Is he an inside corner because of the size? He plays predominantly, I've seen him on the outside every snap at TCU. So, can he make that transition into the interior at the next level, or do they keep him outside? So I think that's the question with him. But, yeah, man, he's real sticky, man. In your hip pocket, real sticky corner.
What do you think about that, Drew, as far as Tomlinson perhaps being asked to play inside the numbers more at the next level? Do you think he's capable of it? Are you concerned about his size outside the numbers?
No, I'm not, because he's physical in terms of the outside. The one thing that I would question, and again, this is not me saying he can't do it, because this is me saying I haven't seen it.
You haven't
right?
seen it. Yep.
And this would be him just being, if you're going to play in the inside, you got to be able to tackle. That's one thing we know Jay Ward can do, is tackle. And you gotta kind of enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? To play that nickel position, to play there, you got to kind of enjoy it. I don't know if he does.
You got to set the edge.
You got to set the edge.
You got to poke your nose in there. Yeah.
You got to turn things back inside, make somebody make a decision, right? And I don't know if he can do that, but if he can, all bets are off. Let's go, line it up. Let's go. So that'd probably be the question for me. Him playing there. Yeah.
I did see some business decisions out there for him.
Oh, you seen some?
So I've seen some business decisions,
okay.
man. He holds the corner. I play corner like that too. You talk to the receiver, you be like, hey, receiver, man, we ain't trying to go too hard. Right now, man. You stay out here with me, bro. You know what I'm saying? But also the other question I have on him is at the next level, holding, because he's so sticky, he'll hold you a little bit downfield. Also,
he will.
So
he will.
That's another.
I'll take it though. You know me, I'll take that. We'll fix that. We'll adjust that.
That 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, we'll take it. I'm good with it, bro. As long, and especially if you're a playmaker,
you live with it.
Yep, all day long.
I hear that. And a little bit more contemporary in this nature. A guy that really his pro career is just derailed by injuries. Really, really talented corner, effective corner when healthy. Jason Verrett, a former Horned Frog as well. It from a size perspective is similar. And he didn't necessarily have an issue playing inside or outside. So. It really does come down to the individual player. I think if you just look at the measurables, you could typecast a player and you don't necessarily get all the value out of him. The other aspect of it, and we talked about this a bit, was just the nature of the way the game is being played these days. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily, a traditional X receiver out there on the boundary doing his thing. He's 6'3", he's 215, whatever the case may be, and he plays above the rim. You know what I mean? The game is being played more at the line of scrimmage in terms of passes being an extension of the run game, as well as inside out. You know what I mean? So from that perspective, I really do think Tomlinson has an opportunity, assuming, he has the requisite technique to be able to play inside or outside. All right. Let's move on to A&M, Texas A&M, that is, in Mississippi State. Of course, we're going to talk about A-Chain. I want to save that, though, because we're going to talk about our top 5 running backs. And I know Headley's a big fan of A-Chain from Texas A&M. Antonio Johnson, Mario Richardson, pair of safeties from Texas A&M, very good players. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think they're actually closer than people want to give credit for. Now, from a testing perspective, that may be the difference. Antonio Johnson, as a first-round prospect, I'm not ready to go there. I know some folks have had him there, in those way too early 2023 NFL mock drafts. I don't see the twitch. I don't see the change of direction. I see very, very sound in terms of assignment. I think when he's coming downhill, he stalks, as you say, Headley. He's a predator. I think he does a very good job with that. I love the fact that he's always in position. But as far as being dynamic, you know what I mean, and changing the complexion of your defense. You know what I mean? I think from that perspective, I can't put him in the Derwin categories. I can't talk about him like a Minka. I don't even think he's Jalen Petrie, a rookie right now for the Houston Texans that played at Baylor. Really very impressive player. We got to see him at the Senior Bowl, and he's doing a terrific job. I think he could be a Pro Bowler in his rookie season. So I'm not seeing necessarily that player, but I do think Antonio Johnson is a quality day 2 prospect. And Richardson, all the starts, all the experience, he doesn't get enough credit. He's running mate. I don't think he gets enough credit. But Drew, as I discuss those defenders from A&M, because of course we don't want to talk too much about A&M's offense. Jimbo, he's struggling. I don't know what he would do if he didn't have A-Chain. Your boy Rogers, Will Rogers, that is.
Yeah. So watching him this game, there was more of the same in terms of the anticipation, and I think that's probably his biggest trait for him. But I saw some chinks in the arm. I saw some chinks. Trying to play some hero ball, trying to throw the ball back across his body, unnecessary throws. That's not his game. Like, stop it. Play within yourself. Don't do the Carson Wentz. You know your limitations. Stop it. But overall, I thought he had a decent game because he should have thrown a couple of picks. I think Robinson dropped one. I think Richardson dropped one. I think Robinson actually dropped two. Richardson dropped one. I think one was I think it might have been off a receiver or something. But he didn't play like he should have. And listen, Texas A&M, bro. I had Layden Robinson, the right guard, in a mock. Can we go back in time and change that, bro?
No. Yeah, take him out.
I can't do that.
No. Pull him out, man.
Yeah, because
we're gonna check the tape. We're gonna check the tape.
Nah, burn this one. Listen. I sent you boys a message. I say, yo, some games, if you watch a game, guys can be a first round pick, and in other games you watch, I'm not talking about Robinson in general. I'm just talking in general, a player that you're evaluating could be a first round pick, or they could be undrafted or a 7th round pick. This was 7th round pick category. Him and A-Chain could not get on the same page. Him, Robinson and the left tackle couldn't get on the same page. Again, I don't know if that's on the quarterback to make sure everything is set up properly, but it happened continuously. And all Mississippi State had to do was walk guys up into the A gap, and there was confusion all over the place. And it was either on the right. It was usually either on A-Chain, who was late, or it was on Robinson for not finding the free guy or doing too much with one guy and not being able to slide over to the other guy. It was bad. Max Johnson, boy, I was throwing prayers up for your boy. He ended up getting hurt anyways. I think he hurt his finger or something. Like it wasn't good, man. And that game was close for a while. And Bobby Bowden, bro.
Bobby.
Not Bobby.
Bobby got to do.
Yeah, man. Leave Bobby out of this.
I put Bobby and Jimbo in the same. When I see Jimbo,
leave Bobby out of this.
Listen to me. Listen.
Come on, bro.
Leave Bobby
First
out.
First of all, I don't respect Florida
Jimbo
State. I don't respect Florida State. So when I think about Bobby Bowden and Jimbo Fisher, I put them in the same pool. I give Bobby a little bit of respect because that is Bobby, but at the same time, I don't care, bro. Jimbo, bro, I need you to. Okay, listen. We might have to put a marker on him, bro. You know how Madden, they used to put the Band-Aid for the injury-prone players and the icons and stuff? Yeah. He might get an icon for not being able to produce offensive lines, bro. Or
it is an issue. I mean, Kenyon Green is doing work now.
No, he's doing work, but that's one guy, bro. Name me another.
That's true. It's true.
In the past, how many years he's been coaching?
It's true.
Right?
And
right. People are starting to bring up that comparison in terms of him and Kevin Sumlin in terms of their record. Mm-hmm. It ain't looking good, bro.
Yeah, you don't want to be compared to Sumlin, man. It started off very well.
Right.
It was exciting. It was lovely. It was the honeymoon was great, but it ended quickly. Particularly when they transitioned to the SEC.
Yep.
Yeah. I think A&M's in trouble. Anaya Smith, the receiver.
Yeah.
That was big.
He's out.
Huge.
It was just him and A-Chain. Those were the engines, and now you're missing one. A-Chain continues to produce as usual, but
does his thing,
teams are going to key in on him more because there's really nobody else they feel that can beat him. They play Alabama next week. I expect another loss, even with the backup court. They got to pull the upset. That's the only way, because if not, I think they're in trouble. And we'll see, man. I don't think they're going to finish ranked.
There you have it. Headley, rattle off your honorable mentions from week 5 as we move towards closing that particular chapter of the college football season.
Honorable mentions: Zay Flowers, big game. Zay continues to impress, man. 20-yard touchdowns. We haven't talked much about Boston College lately, but that guy's a problem. How he wins inside, outside, doesn't matter. The speed, yards after catch. We will probably talk about it more as soon as they play some more ACC competition. We got Clark Phillips from the corner from Utah, had 3 interceptions last week. I think he leads the nation in interceptions with 6, I believe. Fact check me on that. But that guy get his hands on the ball, and he was a prospect being talked about coming into the year. So he's living up to those lofty goals. You got Mayan Williams, running back from Ohio State, 21 carries, 189 yards. 5 touchdowns, a school record at Ohio State.
Who needs Trevion, man?
Yeah, man. Come on. That boy's a bowling ball, hard to bring down, low center of gravity. He's just tough, man. A lot of people weren't talking about him, but now with Trevion not playing, is he hurt? Is Trevion hurt?
Why he didn't get... Yes.
Who cares, bro? Who cares?
Oh, man, he's not draft eligible. That's why.
That's why. And he had 10 missed tackles forced. Mayan Williams. Jeez. You know, you got Brandon Dorley.
MJG? Is it not MJG?
Jones Drew.
MJG.
Yeah, that's Memphis. That's Memphis. That's Orange Mound. Yeah, that's Orange Mound.
You got Brandon Dorley, the edge from Oregon, physical. I think he had 2 sacks last week. And then last but not least, Jacob Cowing, the receiver from Arizona, UTEP transfer. He leads the nation in, here we go, 15-plus yard catches, first downs for catches, touchdowns, yards after the catch. We're going to be the conductor of the Jacob Cowing hype train.
Yeah.
Because this guy is balling out of control from the slot. This is how he attacks you. He comes at you so fast. Like you have to run
you're
back.
On your heels.
You're on your heels.
Yeah.
You're gonna break on the route, catch it right there, and if you don't watch the deep ball, he'll just go right past you. And the quarterback's gonna get the ball in his hands. So he's kind of unstoppable to stop from the slot right now. So a guy to keep an eye on right now.
All right. Drew, HBCU prospects, 2023 draft eligible HBCU prospects of note.
Well, let me throw my one honorable mention in there.
Oh, go ahead.
Because I like his name. Jake Bobo. UCLA. Jake Bobo had his breakout game against Washington. Disappointing game for Washington. Terrible, awful.
Panics.
He went 6 for 142, 2 touchdowns. His ability to win at the top of the route, to break things off like a Kit Kat bar, leave you in no man's land, and he can win at the catch point too. So, good luck over there at UCLA. I'm interested to see what they do. I think they got a game going on this week. We're gonna have to take a peek at, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll talk about that later. But in terms of the HBCU players, let me go with my guy here. Let's talk about
Bruno.
Okay. You know, gotta talk about Bruno, bro. Isaiah Williams, who plays for Delaware State. He had, let me see here. He had 2 sacks, quarterback hurry, and they dominated in the win over. It don't matter. It don't matter. Bro. I mean, stop it.
He was dominant. Isaiah Williams. Check the last name. He was dominant.
And then we have Brandon, and that was for the MEAC. For the SWAC, we got Brandon Roberts, Alabama State, senior linebacker, 6'2", 225. You know, that's the kind of the size of the linebacker, but we not hating out here. He had 10 tackles, including 7 solo, and he registered 2 TFLs, and he had a forced fumble. And they dominated in their defensive effort. The opposing team only had less than 200 yards total.
All right. So before we move on to week 6, I was a little premature there. Quick on the draw, so to speak. We want to talk about your top backs, your top running backs thus far. Top 5. We'll go top 5 across the board. Both you, Headley, and Drew. And let me just pull this up here and
make sure to put them up there because I forgot my 5, bro. I got memory loss, bro. You got to eat carrots. That's carrots is for your eyes, right? What's for your
it's
memory?
For your eyes.
Memory? Eggs. It's eggs.
I don't know, man.
That's high cholesterol, though. You got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? We're getting old out here.
It's good protein, but careful on the cholesterol. All right. So let's start with Again, a little false start.
Hey, bro. We lost the game, bro. He's in field goal range, bro. Now we got to put on the kicker.
Did you watch that game last night?
Bro.
Did you watch that game last night? That's what we talked about.
It was terrible, though.
It was awful.
My brother told me, he said the Broncos are bad, bro. He said, I can't watch them, bro. It's always a team every year. He's like, I can't watch that football team.
Russ? Oh, man.
He was in there cooking hot dogs and cereal, bro. In the milk.
In the milk.
Fire that shit.
All right. Among your top 5, who just missed your top 5, Drew?
I told you I forgot, bro.
North Dakota State.
You forgot who didn't make the list?
No, I got it.
North Dakota State.
I got it. I want to make sure I say his name right. North Dakota State, Hunter, how you say his last name? Just you know how to say it. I don't know how to say
it.
Lupke.
Yeah, he is a Swiss Army knife. Essentially, when you hear that from the running back position, it means they can play fullback, they can play running back, they can play halfback, they can play wing back. They can do whatever you need him to do in terms of just being a weapon. And he's usually a guy who can leak out, sneak out because nobody's paying attention. He does run the ball very well. He does catch the ball very well. It's a guy I'm going to keep a close eye on. And also, I'm gonna put it out there, bro. He's white, bro. And I like it. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't see too many. How many white running backs you know, bro? I'm just saying. Am I wrong? Is there? Okay, who else? And he can't stay healthy. Who else?
Kyle.
Headley, you traded him, right? You traded him.
I traded for him.
Oh, you traded for him.
I might have made a mistake.
What's your boy at Clemson? He's not draft eligible.
Shipley.
Got Shipley out there, man.
Yeah, you got Shipley.
They exist.
All right.
Lukey's impressive, man.
Yeah.
I you know what really impresses me is that how good of a receiver he is out of the backfield.
Yep. It's like it's easy for him, man.
And I'm telling you,
you know,
one of the things that I find it hilarious. You know me, I'm a little old school with it. I like my I formation. I like my fullback. I like my lead blocker in my formation. And we're seeing more and more of those principles coming back. You know, the league is cyclical. You know, we've been dealing with the spread for the last 10 to 15 years. And now we got a generation of linebackers who don't know what to do when there's a fullback coming downhill at them. You know what I mean? And there's been a lot of explosive rushes this year because of some of those power concepts, getting away from zone, outside zone a little bit, and doing the whams, doing the traps, doing the ISOs, running power, pulling guards. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think Lupke, because of all the things he can do, how versatile he is, he's going to be a very interesting prospect and can make a football team better. All right. What about you, Headley? Who just failed to miss your top five?
I got a slash, man. I got Blake Crum and Deuce Vaughn, the little guys. No disrespect to those guys, but you know they're on the shorter side. But those two backs are explosive. Deuce Vaughn, we spoke about it earlier, and Crum, man, put that foot in the ground. The vision, he got that vision.
The vision.
So they just missed my list. You know, lot more football to watch. So you know they can move up as well.
You know, before I get into the list, I want to make mention of Jake's comment here. We've been looking for the next Kyle Juszczyk, and he's right. Luke Key could be the guy. He really could be the guy. You know, if I'm not mistaken, Juszczyk is the highest paid fullback in the NFL because of, again, what he can do as far as being a lead blocker and the flexibility that he offers you as far as the passing game as well.
And that Shanahan offense is spreading like wildfires in the league. So, you know,
definitely
all the disciples and stuff coming out of
it. Yep.
They need that piece.
Yep.
So
that's true.
For sure. So for number 5, Drew, you have Sean Tucker from Syracuse and Headley, Chase Brown of Illinois.
Let me go first.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Tag me in, bro. Tag me in. We need to tag sound effect. Sean Tucker from Syracuse. He runs like he's like 6'2", and he's a powerful, explosive back through the hole. Has good vision. I wasn't, you know, when I first watched him, I was like, he all right. Yeah, but and that was before the season actually started. Because I know he was high on a lot of people's boards, and I could understand why, man. He's the engine for that Syracuse offense, and he's a fun watch, man. For Syracuse.
Chase Brown,
explosive, velocity. He doesn't do anything slow. You know, it's always moving fast. Feet are quick. The lateral movements, he's easy lateral movements, and once you get into space, yeah, man, it's night, man. So Chase Brown, I think he was leading the league in the nation in break tackles at one point. He's not even big. He's just running so fast, and he got the contact balance. So when you make contact with him, he just keeps going. So I got Chase Brown at number 5.
All right. Number 4, the aforementioned Deuce Vaughn for Drew out of Kansas State, and then of course Headley has Sean Tucker, who is the 5th ranked running back for Drew. Headley, I'll start with you. What do you like about Sean Tucker? We heard from Drew. What do you like about Sean Tucker?
He runs hard. If you give him a crease, he'll take advantage. Keeps on coming. But I really like how he follows his blocks. Really well. Patient. And when he bursts into that open field, he's another guy that is hard to stop, man. So, yeah, that's what I really like about Sean Tucker.
Oh, my turn, Deuce Vaughn? Oh, we talked about him. He's work done, 2.0. I'm just 2.0. No, I ain't going to say that. Let me not do that. I'll just repeat what I said earlier, man. He's hard to find behind that line of scrimmage. He knows that he plays to that. And he can be his own bowling ball, not to the likes of who we were talking about earlier,
Mayan Williams.
Mayan Williams, almost said MJG again. Not to the likes of that, but Vaughn can catch you off guard with it. You know what I'm saying? If you think because he's small and you can just kind of take on his speed to power that burst, he's going to catch you off guard. He's going to run through you, and he's fast. And he's a fun watch, and he's actually a patient runner as well.
All right. At number 3, Drew has Jahmyr Gibbs of Alabama, and Headley has his guy, Devin A-Chain from Texas A&M. Drew, I'm a little surprised he Gibbs at 3. I think for most people, he's in that conversation. He's either 2 or he's 1A for most folks. Why do you have Gibbs at 3? Clearly still a member of your top 3 here.
Yeah, they can come see me, bro. No. So it's because the other two, I like the other two guys that much better. That much better. And the thing about Gibbs is we know that he has that receiving threat. Well, he came from Georgia Tech, and I knew he could run through the tackles, but I didn't know he was quite this type of player in terms of his receiving ability. And Alabama's using him at his optimal potential, if you will. Right. And I can't put him over the other guys right now. You're gonna have to. I gotta see more football. I'm gonna do the easy thing and say I need to see more football with him, man.
Fair enough. A-Chain Headley.
Well, they say he's a runner. He's a track star. You feel me?
Yo,
that guy. Just the blazing speed. Hold your breath on every touch. There's only a couple of running backs. It's another guy in the league, Florida State, Dalvin Cook. Yep. He's a guy, every time he touches the ball, the opponents hold their breath. Like, what is he going to do? And I think
definitely at FSU. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Not in Minnesota?
Not to the same level. Obviously, we were playing at a higher level. And I think obviously it's a very different scheme. He's running the outside zone where they were running more power concepts at that time when Jimbo was in FSU. I know there's more outside zone that he's running now, but there were more power concepts. But just to your point, every time Dalvin Cook touched the ball, and not unlike A-Chain here, it was kind of like he might go the distance. We got to be real careful.
Yeah, and this is how he runs also. He's not just a speedster. He runs with this lean, always moving forward. The only thing I really question is his pass blocking. I think Drew brought it up, before the meeting. But the pass blocking, man, you got to improve on that because at the next level, you can't protect your quarterback. It's gonna be hard for you to see the field. So you got to improve on that pass blocking.
All right. At number 2, Drew has Muhammad Ibrahim from Minnesota, and Headley has Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama. Real quick, Headley, Gibbs.
We talked about it earlier. Speed, the receiving ability, Alvin Kamara-like. I think he might be Alvin Kamara. He might be a clone, because what he does is pass catching, running the football, the contact balance. He has it all, man. He's the engine to that Bama offense now with Bryce Young hurt. And we're going to see a lot more of Jahmyr Gibbs in the next coming weeks.
Let me ask you real quick. I know we used to call, I don't know if we made it up or it was Twitter or whatever. Alvin Kamara was called Gumby, right?
Yeah.
We
made that up.
We made that up.
Yeah, that's us. That's Couch Potato General Manager.
My bad. Okay.
How you going to just give up the...
I was asking, bro. I wasn't giving. I was asking. Listen. So let me ask y'all: do y'all know who the red character was? Because we know who Gumby was. He was green. Who's the little red horse guy? We can give that to Gibbs.
That's him. That's Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look it up, bro. And he playing on a team that's red too, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Respect.
The red guy.
Yeah, but the respect is we don't even know that I don't know if it's respect because we don't even know the red.
I mean, he wasn't Gumby. Gumby was a star.
Yeah, that was the name of the show, wasn't it? Gumby.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's part of it. All right. Muhammad Ibrahim. I know Juice is gonna bring it up. He's an 8th year player. I think it's his 5th year or 6th year, whatever it is. He got injured last year. He should have came out last year. He probably would have been.
You have the COVID stuff and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so it kept pushing it back. I know he's playing a position of the running back where you want those guys as young as possible. Mm-hmm. But this is. I love watching his game. To me, he's the complete package as a player in terms of run blocking, in terms of run blocking, pass blocking, in terms of running the ball, the patience, the vision, his ability to burst through the hole, to see it and get up and out. The only thing I would question with him, obviously, is the age. You don't like that, but the other thing would be is I don't know if he has the breakaway speed. And another guy who. He doesn't run as violent. I don't think Ibrahim runs as violent as him, but I think they're comparable in terms of their skill set, in terms of what they can do at the running back position. Is Dameon Pierce, who's playing for the Houston Texans right now. I think they're comparable in that sense, and I think if you're getting that kind of back, who's not going to fail you and get your quarterback killed and do what you need to do in the backfield, I think that's sometimes just what you need back there.
Yeah,
these teams like to go out there. Yeah, they want to draft all this flashy stuff and then get your quarterback killed. Or fumble the football, whatever it is, instead of just getting a guy who can just do what needs to be done. And I think Ibrahim can do that. He looks, coming off as either Achilles or an ACL, doesn't matter. He looks like the same player. You know what I'm saying? Look like it never happened. You know what I'm saying? So it would have been nice for him to come out last year, but it is what it is. And I don't know that anybody's going to remove him from spot number 2 outside of injury. Because I like him that much.
I hear you on that, and then Jake chimed in as well, saying that the concern is the injury, and I imagine that's what the scouts and the team medical staffs when they poke and prod during the combine are going to be looking at. I think it's going to be less emphasis on the age because, of course, they're just going to run running backs into the ground as it is. You want running backs on a rookie contract. That's where you get the most bang for your buck, right? So I don't think that necessarily is going to be the issue, but I do believe the fact that he does have a fairly lengthy injury history may detract some. That being said, he's returned to form. He looks like the player that he was prior to this most recent injury. You know what I mean? He's been terrific. So that leaves us with number 1, and number 1 shouldn't come as any surprise based on the names that you see here, and of course the names that were mentioned in terms who just missed Drew and Headley's respective top 5s. That's going to be Bijan Robinson out of Texas. Drew, what do you like about Bijan? Why is Bijan number 1 for you?
I like that he gave him a different color than everybody else. Respect.
Orange. Texas orange.
So I'll do it this way. When you talk about my number 1 versus my number 2, right? Bijan has this special ability to make people miss in very small spaces. We call that the phone booth. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he does it. I almost feel like, I feel like when a player is so flashy and so ridiculous, I feel like they might get hurt because they're doing things that's not natural to the human body and to the human eye. That's what scares me about him. But he's so special in that way in terms of making people miss outside of everything else he does for the position. He can do everything you want from the position and make people miss in small spaces, has the burst, can catch out the back of them hands. I mean, them hands is soft as cotton, bro. Just lay it right in there. I'm going to catch it, and I'm going to make somebody miss. Then I'm going to run somebody over, right? Mm-hmm. He is what everybody wanted Saquon to be, and I'm going to leave it there.
Mm-hmm. I see a different Saquon this year.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's running behind his pads like he's never ran behind his pads before.
Somebody told him somebody in his ear, bro.
But I understand where you're coming from there. What about you, Headley?
He took my thunder, Drew. I was going to make a man miss. That's his number 1 attribute. We see it in the league. Everything's blocked up. You got one guy in front of you. You got to make him miss, and a lot of running backs don't. You know, some running backs people love. I'm not gonna bring him up, Juice. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna bring him up. Bring him up. Yeah,
bro, bring him up.
Yeah. Zeke. He doesn't make a man miss, and Bijan does it every single time. And to me, he's just the perfect back, man. I'm looking through my notes. I don't have a weakness for him. He's patient at the line. He explodes, catches out of the backfield. Just it's that patient feet, the speed, especially when he gets on the edge, man. When he gets on the edge, man, look like Reggie Bush out there, man. He is probably who people thought Reggie
Bush would be.
Should have been.
Yeah,
that's
I
where
like
I'm gonna go with Bijan.
Bro, I'm gonna need you to cut that right there, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Cut my Headley's, match it up.
Yeah, I got it. That's its own standalone right there.
Yeah,
I hear you. With the emphasis. All right, that's gonna do it for Headley's and Drew's respective top 5 backs to this point in the pre-draft process, college football season. We're gonna go rapid fire here through this week 6 slate. Just want to call out a number of games and a handful of prospects that folks should be keying in on in terms of when they're watching that Saturday slate. So let's start with.
Hold on, real quick. Did you see the comment by Jay?
What did Jay say? Hold on. What did he say?
Robinson equals Christian.
McCaffrey.
I love it.
Hey, he got the lower half.
He got the lower half.
He got the baby Saquon.
I like that one.
You know what I'm saying? That's nice. See, Jake, you got to coin that. You got to copyright that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, you don't want to forget that you came up with it, unless somebody else did, of course. But I appreciate that, Jake. Let's talk LSU. Tennessee at LSU. Who are we looking at? Hendon Hooker, obviously.
Hendon Hooker. Yeah. I guess this LSU defense, one of the top defenses in the nation. We'll see if Hendon Hooker could, after that Florida game, he had that big game. I think he had a bye week last week, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what Hendon Hooker looks like. I don't think Cedric Tillman. I'm not sure if he's going to be out there, but
I looked it up. They were saying I think it's a game time decision unless they changed it.
I really want to see Cedric Tillman out there if he could go, man. So those two guys.
Yeah, we can talk about the usual suspects. DJ Uiagalelei. We can talk about is it Ali Gay, number 11 on the other end, and obviously Jay Ward. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah, and I'd like to talk about the receiver on the other side, number 7. You know what I'm saying? They might have to strip him of the number. I don't know. Again, and I've said
what happened to that boy, man?
It ain't him. I don't think it's him, bro. Like you can say in that first game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's been him since then. Number 5, the quarterback. And I know I'm disrespecting.
Hey, he might want to hit the portal. I don't know.
Mid-season? Can you do a mid-season portal?
I'm not praying. He wish he could. Special assignment out here, B. Yo.
TCU at Kansas.
All right, I'm looking at that quarterback, that Jalen Daniels, not Jaden Daniels from LSU. They got Jalen Daniels from Kansas. Hearing a lot of hype about him. Want to see how he matches up with Tomlinson, Tomlinson, and Quentin Johnson. Man, we talked about Boutte. Did Boutte? I said it right.
Yeah,
I want to see Quentin Johnson too. I want to see what he could do.
Yeah, I think he getting the same treatment though. It's not a lack of him, just failing. It's just quarterback play. I think I have that in my notes as well about quarterback play for TCU. It is a problem. So
Texas at Oklahoma, big rivalry game here. Bijan, obviously. Obviously. Bijan.
You got Bijan. You have what's the right tackle? Left tackle. Anton Harrison. That Texas. I know Texas line. They played well against Bama. And that'd be a test for him over there. And we also have Marvin Mims. He didn't get any love last week, and he's a guy you just got to get the ball in his hands. I don't understand it. You got a player on the field. You don't need to throw. Bro. Don't have to throw it down the field, bro. Just throw a screen, you know what I'm saying? A slant, something. Just give him the ball and let him do his work, bro. But, I don't know, bro. Terrible.
Coaches overthink it, man. You know what I mean? It happens all too frequently at every level of ball. I may be butchering the name, but I think it was Jordan Whitington, that receiver we talked about, perhaps in episode 1 of the second half draft show from Texas. I think he has some skill. I'd like to see him more involved in terms of that offense as well. Auburn at Georgia.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a massacre. But it's going to be a massacre. But it's going to be interesting to see the usual suspects for Auburn in terms of Kobe Wooden and Derek Hall versus that Georgia defense, how they're going to scheme up against Stetson Bennett and the beast of tight ends and Darnell. Is it Darnell Washington, number 0? And the guy we can't talk about because he ain't draft eligible. And obviously Georgia's defense. I mean, just do the Rolodex of names.
Yeah. Nolan Smith, Jalen.
Don't forget about Broderick Jones, the left tackle, man.
Jones.
See how it goes against Hall and
that is a matchup. Those are the matchups that I'm looking forward to in that contest. Let's go out west. Utah at UCLA.
I mean, you got my guy Jake Bobo, the wide receiver. You have is it Dorian? I want to say his name. Let me get it right.
DTR.
Yeah, Dorian Thompson Robinson, and you also have Zach. How you say Charbonnet?
Charbonnet.
Goddamn Chardonnay out here, baby. He can be that too because he that nice. But that'll be interesting to see going against this Utah defense. And I know Headley, you talked about the corner for Utah earlier.
Clark Phillips III.
Right.
Also, Utah got a running back too, Tavion Thomas, big bruiser over there, matched up against Charbonnet. So it'd be interesting to see those two running backs go at it. I know Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah. I think this is going to be a physical game. I know it's Pac-12 and everyone thinks it's soft over there, but I think this one might be a little physical right here.
This is going to be running the football and guys getting punched in the mouth, and it's going to be interesting. And also Cam Rising, the quarterback for Utah, who I think people have kind of forgotten about, but that's another guy as well.
All right. Ohio State at Michigan State.
Oh, you already
Wyndham
know,
and Paris Johnson.
There it is.
There it is.
Marquee heavyweight matchup right there. Yeah, Paris Johnson's been phenomenal. Phenomenal. I we're going to talk offensive tackle rankings, but I mean, who do you put over Paris Johnson right now?
Either the boy from Northwestern, Skoronski is him. I think he's him too. Skoronski is real solid.
Yeah. All right. Clemson at Boston College.
Oh, Zay Flowers. We were just talking about Zay Flowers playing against a big ACC opponent. Clemson got some young corners out there, so if they could protect, they got to protect them because Clemson is coming across the defensive line. But if they could protect them, man, watch Zay Flowers. I think number 4.
Djokovic. What happened with Djokovic, man? What's going on there, man?
I mean, he's number 1. He's playing for Boston College. Number 2, he's got to stay healthy. Number 3, I don't know if he's going to stay healthy in this game because he is a guy who will sit in that pocket, bro, and he will take shot after shot after. I'm like, bro,
protect yourself.
Are you okay, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't. And it's like the previous hit didn't happen, bro. He got that corner mindset. You just next play, like. But he's a big guy, and he's kind of the outside of Zay Jones, he's kind of the engine for that Boston College team. But this might be a rough one for them boys if you're talking about that Clemson defensive line. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in that game. But yeah,
Washington State at USC.
Yeah,
Cameron.
Yeah. Vic Light, bro. Vic Light, isn't it? No,
Cameron Ward, man,
going too far.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the quarterbacks.
Hey, USC might be on upset alert right here, man. Put it out there. Might be upset alert right here. Jordan Addison, Travis Dye for USC. Washington State, you got Cam Ward and Drew and Headley. Guy that's going to be probably in my top 5 linebackers in this class.
You also have Andrew Voorhees. I think he's a left or right tackle for USC, and I haven't watched him this season.
Left guard. I think he's left guard.
Left guard. Yeah. I think you're right. I'm gonna watch him as well because I haven't watched him at all this season, so that's something I'm gonna pay attention to as well.
South Carolina at Kentucky.
Bro, do we really gotta?
Yeah. Oh wait! Before we get into that, y'all see Jake's question?
Nah, he number 1 for me, Jake.
Yeah,
these guys try to fight me on it. He's number 1.
I try to play a little devil's advocate. Because you didn't just say he was number 1 in this class. You said he was number 1. Might be number 1 last class. That's why I pushed back.
That's where you get pushed back.
That's where I pushed back.
Yeah. He's not number 1 for me. I got my guy out of SMU that continues to produce. Yeah, Rashee Rice. Yeah, that's the number one guy. Yeah.
All right. South Carolina at Kentucky. Will Levis. Naturally, we're going to be paying very close attention to him. There's some defenders in Kentucky. Chris Rodriguez, of course. South Carolina. Anybody catching your eye to this point? Anybody you want to see more of? Is our corner going to be there? What's happening here?
Yeah, I don't know. If he plays, I mean that's a guy to watch. I know Kentucky does have a receiver. I want to say his last name is Bowden. I think he's a freshman though. That might be a good matchup, assuming Cam Smith is out there. Yeah. And then you have obviously Spencer Rattler, who just you got
Jaheim Bell, the tight end. I don't know if he's gonna get much targets, but he's a talent out there.
He getting that Jelani Wood treatment, bro, where he's got all this talent, but don't necessarily get the production. You know what I'm saying?
Georgia clearly is the only school that knows how to use the tight end position.
No, them in Utah.
Utah. I buried the lead. Kavasier Smoke, he's gonna be in this game.
The lead, bro. Next game.
It's the lead, man.
No,
Kavasier Smoke. Just on the strength of the name, bro.
That's a lie, bro.
Kavasier I like the name. Smoke.
I like, but Chris Rodriguez is back.
Yeah,
so
Rodriguez is back.
He can go. He can go chill, bro. Relax. Take a day off.
Nice matchup here for your boy Jaren Hall, Drew. BYU at Notre Dame.
Yeah, we got my man Jaren Hall. My boy Puka. I need to check, bro, because I'm not sure if he's healthy to play. He didn't play. As far as I know, he didn't play last week, or if he did, he didn't have a stat. But
got
Jaren
his
Hall
back. He got his other receiver back.
He got Gunner Romney. I can't.
Yeah, Gunner Romney. I think.
Yeah. Got him back. And you have Blake Freeland, the left tackle. You have I can't think of these. I think it's the left guard, as well. And then for Notre Dame, let me.
You got Mayer, the tight end.
Yes.
Foskey versus Breland. That's a head-to-head matchup right there.
It's a head-to-head.
Who else you got for Notre Dame?
You got the safety, Brandon. I can't think of his name. So many names, bro. It's too many names.
Oh, the one that banged your boy in the gym, bro.
Yeah, he lost his man this season, bro.
Out.
Brandon Joseph, transfer from Northwestern. Yeah. And you got the center too. Did you say the center?
Nah,
from center from Notre Dame. I got him. Hold on.
Patterson, Jared Patterson.
There you go. All right.
Jared Patterson. A&M Bama, I think the usual suspects. Obviously, we're not anticipating to see Bryce Young, so we should get more Jahmyr Gibbs. Of course, Alabama has quite a few defenders at every level. Henry To'oTo'o, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But I will continue to watch him. I'm gonna continue to watch him. I'm definitely gonna. Oh man,
lost soul.
I'm gonna continue to watch him. And then like I said, for A&M, A-Chain, and those defenders, I think A&M has an interesting group of defenders that I think are worth paying attention to. But it's gonna be tougher for them to move the football. And then finally, Pac-12 late. I think this is 11 p.m. Eastern kickoff, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm gonna be up watching it.
You got your coffee and tea ready, bro?
I'm going to be up watching it.
Your Red Bull, 5 hour Celsius, man.
We got Oregon at Arizona.
Yeah, you have you got McCowan. They're probably not going to see each other because you're talking about a guy who should be playing in the slot, and you're going to do him a disservice if you don't play him in the slot. And Cowing and Christian Gonzalez, big, strong, physical corner for Oregon is interesting. And you also have Bo Nix out there, can't forget about the quarterback. Yeah,
you got Dorless on the defensive line, Sewell the linebacker, DJ Johnson the edge. Yep. Yeah, Oregon got a lot of good names on the defensive side of the football.
All right, that does it for the Week 6 slate, guys. We will see you at the same time next Friday. That's 9:30 Eastern. The second half draft show brought to you by Couch Potato General Manager. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All right. We'll catch you next time.